Okay, hi y'all. This is Canning Tomatoes 101. Tomatoes are very messy to do, but they're very simple. One of probably the most simplest of the canning processes, in my opinion. So, first of all, the first thing that you want to do with your tomatoes is do them in the sink like this, in a vinegar water mixture. Just cold water will work. It just cleans the pesticides off and gets them ready to go into the boiling pot of water over here, as you see. What we're doing here is blanching the tomatoes, and what's going to happen is when they come to a boil, the tomato skins are going to crack, and that's when you pull them out to lay them on the paper towels to cool them. Once they cool, the skin will just pull right off the top, and then you can core them and cut them and put them back in the pot to stew them. And we'll get to that process a little bit later, but we're just starting the process on the yellow tomatoes. I did 16 quarts right yesterday, and some 4 or 5 quarts of pickles. I didn't buy that many. Just wanted to kind of see how they held up this year. So stay tuned, and I'll be back with you in a little while. Bye. Okay, hey, I'm back. I pulled some of the tomatoes from the boiling water, and I laid them out on paper towels. And I don't know if you can see where they've cracked, which I think you can, and you pull the skin off. I like to pull it just a little bit while they're still hot, but you need to kind of let them cool so the skins will come off and you don't burn your fingers. You can also use the option after you take them out of the boiling water to put them in another bowl of cold water, and that'll also help peel the skins off. But I just, I don't want another bowl and more water and more mess. So, okay, get back to you in a little bit. Bye. Okay, hey y'all, I'm back. I've just got done blanching all the tomatoes, and here's what I got. This is approximately 50 pounds. They come in 25-pound boxes, but I think you get gypped a couple of pounds. This, and we have all of these tomatoes. Stay tuned for the next process. It's going to take me a few minutes. The tomatoes are still in the process of cooling down, so let me get that process done, and I'll be back with you on the next. Hey, I'm back. Okay, here's the deal. Here's the next process. Kind of had to make a prop for the computer so the camera could get to it. So this process is it's the messiest process of canning tomatoes. But I'm just going to really quickly show you how to do this so you know what you're doing. You need probably about a 12-quart pot to put these in. This is the same pot that I used to blanch them. You can use a bigger pot if you want to, smaller pot. It really just depends on the volume that you're doing. I don't necessarily like to use a paring knife or anything when I'm doing this. I like to do everything with my hands if possible. And some of these, the centers don't need to be taken out, the cores don't need to be taken out. But what you want to do is see the skin, how it just how it's fallen off of the tomato. You take it from the bottom side of the tomato and just press your thumbs in and kind of gently push down. And then you can pinch off the tomato. And you can tell if there's like a tough spot in it that's real veiny. You really don't want that. See, like on that tomato I got, quite a bit out, but that's, a lot of the core that's really tough. But like I said, some of them can be used just depending on the size of the tomato, whether it's, how tender it is, how well it blanched. So just peel the tomatoes one by one. I'm just kind of using my paper towels over here, but I usually keep a bowl to throw the peels in, but I kind of left it on the other side of the kitchen, and I wanted to get on with this. But like I said, tomatoes with this process is very messy. So here again, we are at the bottom, and we just push down with our thumbs, and just kind of pull everything apart. You can opt to leave the skins on the tomatoes if you want. A lot of times when canning tomatoes, I don't prefer it because I use these a lot in the winter for stews and soups and roast and salsa, and they're a lot healthier for you than the canned stuff you get out of the grocery store. They actually say that canned tomatoes are one of the worst canned products that you can consume from the grocery store, believe it or not. See, that one was real tough and it didn't get as much off the tomato. You'll typically find that with the larger tomatoes than you will the smaller ones. So it took me about, like I said earlier, 50 pounds of tomatoes, and it took about an hour and 10 minutes to blanch them and cool them, and some of them are still warm. You know, if you pick one up that's warm, you can move on to the next one and give it a little while before you pick it up and peel it. But this process takes a little bit of time. All these tomatoes that I have on this one side over here are shifted in this pot. And what you want to do is wait till you get enough tomatoes in the pot to probably about halfway before you turn on your heat. Because if you don't, you want to cut on your heat and stir them real good. Because if not, you'll burn them. Because they tend to cling to the bottom of whatever pot you're using just because of the settling. You're going to get messy, so make sure that you've got, you know, an apron on, or, you know, old clothes or something. I collect vintage aprons, so it's, you know, I just go and grab, and my clothes are protected, and which, I mean, you're still going to get you're going to get mess everywhere. So just be prepared for that. But all right, well, I'm going to call this section done for right now, and I'll get back to you when I get these tomatoes in this pot and start stewing them, and then the actual process of putting them in the jars. So, all right, see you in a little bit. Hey y'all, I'm back. We're on to the next process now. My other half decided to get in over here peeling skin off of the tomatoes, which is a rare occasion because the man doesn't even know how to boil water. So, but anyways, now we have our tomatoes in the stew pot. And what's going to happen here is you don't need to put anything in there unless you want to. You can put herbs in there, salt, garlic, whatever you're trying to accomplish. I'm just doing tomatoes plain because I'm going to use them throughout the winter for certain things. Like I said earlier, chili, stews, sauces, etc. And I don't cook with any salt for health reasons. So, but feel free to, you know, put, you know, probably in a 12-quart pot, I don't know, maybe 4 teaspoons. I'm not really sure what the what it would be on that, but you can look it up. So as soon as I get these tomatoes boiled, get them stewed, we'll be back with the next process, and till then, bye. Okay, y'all, I'm back for a few minutes. The next process you want to do is put your lids, your seals and your rings, in a pot of boiling water just to sterilize them. And see, the tomatoes aren't stewing. They've got a good little hole to them. Just make sure you keep stirring them occasionally, maybe like every 5 minutes. It takes about 20 to 25 minutes to do a pot like this as far as stewing them. So when we start to put them in the jars, when we put the seals on them, we want to make sure that the ring of the jar is dry and also that the seals are dry. So like I said, they're just in the boiling water to sterilize them, and we'll pull those out when we're ready to attach them. So, all right, I'll be back to you shortly. Bye. You can just get a basic colander. It doesn't have to be anything special. Just as something to dump the rings and seals into, let the excess water drip off of them. So, get that ready. And also, you might want to get a coffee cup or a shot glass or something, because we're going to be using some lemon juice in this next process. The lemon juice is just to help preserve the color of the tomatoes and the freshness of them. So it's a lot better than using the, I think it's citric acid. It's a powder that you sprinkle on top of each quart. It's not, no, use the lemon juice. It's a lot better for you anyways. Okay, I had to put my glasses on for this process because really I'm blind as a bat. But the other things I've been able to do without them. But I'm going to have to be able to see a little bit better to do this process. So, okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a maximum of 2 jars out of the dishwasher. Okay, we put these in the dishwasher probably about an hour ago. I've got my cup of lemon juice and a half of a teaspoon measuring spoon. And I have my canning colander. Hold on, the boyfriend's calling. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I got a couple of jars out of the dishwasher. So what we're going to do, we got our stewed tomatoes over here. Remember, our jars need to be hot. So we just ladle the tomatoes into the jar like this. That'll take about, 4 average ladle size to fill up 1 jar. You just take the colander off, the funnel off, and then you put a half a teaspoon of lemon juice into the jar. Then we have our rings and our seals that we boiled. So just get a paper towel or a kitchen towel or whatever you're using and wipe them off. Make sure they're dry. And then wipe the lid of the jar. Take the seal, put it on top of the jar. Make sure the ring's dry as well. And then you take the ring, you screw it on the jar, but don't screw it real tight. Just loosely place it on there because you're going to need the expansion from the seal, because what's going to happen is the heat is eventually going to take a vacuum against the seal and pull it down. So when you're done with that, just set it back and go on to the next one. So yet again, about 4 ladlefuls of the stewed tomatoes. This one's taking another ladle because there's more juice instead of tomatoes in that first scoop. So here we go again. Just take the funnel off, dry the top of the lid. Grab a ring and a seal. Dry the seal off. Make sure the ring's dry. And loosely place it on the jar. Oh, crap. I forgot the lemon juice in this one. That got a little wet from where it fell. So I place the seal in the ring loosely and set it aside. Okay, alright, that is pretty much the process for canning tomatoes. What's going to happen is the heat is going to vacuum seal the jars, and you just set them aside, and when they seal, you'll hear like a loud pop, and then you can tighten the lids and then store them. So I hope you all have enjoyed canning tomatoes 101 with Bobby Elizabeth, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.